It's Wednesday, February 13. Here are the stories making the midweek newscast. 2 loans valued at over $6 billion were signed with the Inter-American Development Bank earlier this week. Signing on behalf of the government was Minister of Finance Winston Jordan, who is in the U.S. for the IDB's 8th annual Caribbean Governors Meeting.
The loans will go toward the establishment of an electronic single window for trade and the energy matrix diversification and institutional strengthening of the Department of Energy. With the electronic single window, exporters, importers, agencies and businesses involved in the importation and exportation of goods can look forward to reduced transaction costs, data requirements and documents, and simplified trade processes through enhanced interagency collaboration. Meanwhile, the Energy Matrix Diversification and Strengthening of the Department of Energy project will see investments in newer and more sustainable energy solutions for hinterland communities, improve the reliability and stability of the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system, and help the Department of Energy to develop a regulatory framework, improve its capacity and governance of the oil and gas sector. The projects will be executed by the Ministry of Business, the Guyana Energy Agency, and Guyana Power and Light Incorporated, respectively. For InfoHub, Nikosi Bruce.
There is no shortage of U.S. currency in the banking system. Governor of the Bank of Guyana, Dr. Gobind Ganga, has clarified in light of misinformation being shared in sections of the media.
The governor was at the time responding to claims contained in a newspaper article which stated that a well-known shipping company was asking its clients to pay for United States dollars at an exchange rate of 230 Guyana dollars to $1 US.
There is sufficient foreign exchange in the market. As a matter of fact, for the bank cambios, we have almost 50 million US dollars available for those who want to purchase foreign exchange.
In addition, Dr. Ganga says there may be hoarding taking place, and this, coupled with the demand for US dollar notes from the cambios, could be responsible for the claims of currency shortage. He, however, stresses the availability of such currencies at the commercial banks.
You get a debit card in US dollars if you are traveling. That is a Visa debit card. You can also wire money to where you want to make payments. And those are at very, very good rates, which are hovering around 215.50.
The Bank of Guyana governor also reiterated that the country is currently in good financial standing. He explains some of the economic indicators.
The financial indicators are good. With respect to inflation, for example, it is just about 1.2%. Exchange rate is relatively stable. In terms of the commercial rate from the commercial banks, is about 215.50.
Dr. Ganga says the Bank of Guyana is closer to entering into an agreement with an international banking institution to function as the correspondent bank following Bank of America's withdrawal in July of 2016. Reporting for InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
The non-resident High Commissioner of New Zealand to Guyana, His Excellency Anton Ujala, this morning presented his letters of credence to Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu at the Ministry of the Presidency.
High Commissioner Ujala explained that as a demonstration of his country's commitment to the bilateral relation, Guyana and New Zealand, his government will continue to provide assistance to community projects in Guyana and to continue providing scholarships to students from Caribbean nations, including Guyana, in the foreseeable future. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu remarked that notwithstanding the geographic distance between two countries, our shared interests and common positions on matters such as peace and respect for human rights, sustainable development, climate change, and the inviolability of international treaties have provided a solid foundation for friendly relations which both countries enjoy. Prime Minister Nagamutu further explained that the accreditation is an excellent opportunity for Guyana and New Zealand to reiterate their commitment to forge closer ties and to concrete measures to further strengthen our cooperation, program for mutual benefit of our two countries and peoples. For InfoHub, Rebecca Ganesh.
Representatives of the Carter Center are in the country for discussions. On Tuesday, Associate Director Brett Lacey and Legal and Electoral Advisor Ann Marlborough met with Minister of State Joseph Harmon, Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali, and Political Advisor Dr. Mark Curtin at the Ministry of the Presidency. Also attending the meeting was the General Secretary of the Alliance for Change, Marlon Williams. More information on this story can be found on our website and social media page. To ensure the elimination of mercury use in mining to protect lives and the environment, the Ministers of Natural Resources and Indigenous Peoples Affairs have collaborated to effectively educate everyone, especially the indigenous communities, on its use.
Both ministers attended a meeting of the National Working Group on the Minamata Convention on Mercury, where stakeholders were brought up to date on what has been taking place with regards to the National Action Plan for the Artisanal Small-Scale Gold Mining ASGM sector and government's efforts on the elimination of the use of mercury. During the meeting, Minister Trotman reiterated his concerns on the continued use of mercury, stating that further educating was needed. He said the use of mercury still existed in many villages.
In the very villages that you mentioned, it is the villagers themselves who are using the mercury. And so that we run away with this belief that it's some outside miner who goes in and the village just looks on as if, they're helpless. Invariably, I'm finding that they are very much involved.
The National Resources Minister said he understood the challenges involved in moving away from the practice and noted that the government was working on an alternative. His colleague, Minister Sidney Alicock, agreed that further education was necessary to eradicate the use of mercury and protect lives and the environment.
This calls for a lot of education if we are going to save the environment, which means not only to the miner, but to those persons who are living there. So you have a better understanding of what is happening.
Elemental and metal mercury are toxic to the central and peripheral nervous systems. The inhalation of mercury vapor can produce harmful effects on the nervous, digestive and immune systems, lungs and kidneys, and may also be fatal. Reporting for InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
Still to come, Center of Excellence opened, and today is World Radio Day. These and more when we return.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
Thanks for staying with us. The University of Guyana today opened its Center of Excellence for Teaching and Learning.
The launch today also coincided with the inaugural Teaching and Learning Symposium being held under the theme New Era, New Strategies to Enhance Teaching and Learning as we journey along Renaissance Road. Present at the launch was Minister of Education, Dr. Nicolette Henry, who took the chance to highlight the importance of the institution and others like it.
On the eve of a petroleum-supported economy, there is an unprecedented demand for and a great diversification in higher education, as well as an increased awareness of its vital importance for socio-cultural and economic development.
Vice Chancellor Professor Ivelaw Griffith stated the importance of improving the programs and services offered by the institution.
We've got to find the opportunity of enhancing our ability to serve the students. And the primary constituency to serve the students is the faculty. the lecturers, the technicians in the library.
The Vice-Chancellor also installed the newly appointed advisory board for the Center and charged them with their duties to monitor the effectiveness of programs to enhance the teaching and learning experience at the institution.
Appointees shall contribute voluntarily of their expertise to COTAL and monitor the effectiveness of the programs developed from the advisor's perspective based on current regional, national, and global realities. They shall facilitate opportunities for faculties and school and their students to enhance the teaching and learning environment.
Reporting for InfoHub, Nikosi Bruce.
A training course was held to equip shelter operators to better manage victims of trafficking. The Ministry of Social Protection's Counter-Trafficking Unit is taking the lead in this regard.
It's very important for you as facilities operators, shelter operators, managers, counselors to be equipped with the necessary knowledge in order to work with victims of trafficking in persons, not only counsel them, but provide the necessary care and support they need.
That was Tanisha Williams Corbin, coordinator of the Counter-Trafficking Unit attached to the Ministry of Social Protection. The training exercise hosted by the unit was designed to sensitize shelter operators with the national referral and identification process for trafficking in persons in Guyana, how to counsel and empower victims to testify against perpetrators, understand the nature of tip crimes and other systems that are in place to combat the crime. Corbin said the strengthened relationship between the counter-trafficking unit, shelter operators, and the ministry has seen a reduction in the re-victimization of tip victims.
We recorded and assisting 156 victims of trafficking in persons. That's on the soil of Guyana. So trafficking in persons, as Ms. Edmondson said, it's real and it's happening here. 156 victims. And out of that 156 victims, 93 were referred to your facilities for care and support for 2018. 2019, so far, same thing. To date, we have recorded 8 cases of suspected trafficking in persons. 45 victims were identified on the soils of Guyana.
The Counter-Trafficking Unit is collaborating with the International Organization for Migration to repatriate victims who are found trafficked in the Caribbean. Reporting for InfoHub, Ayana George.
On World Radio Day, as Guyana observes 40 years of radio broadcast, the coalition government continues to close the gap between hinterland and coastland regions with the establishment of community radio stations.
World Radio Day 2019 finds Guyana in a unique position, not only to mark the revival of radio as an instrument for dialogue, tolerance, and peace, but to celebrate a historic development in Guyana. Since 2016, 1 year after the coalition government came to power, the administration has established 6 regional radios in the hinterland regions and a 7th to be commissioned shortly in Essequibo. Using NCN's Voice of Guyana as their flagship, Radio Letem and Radio Mabaruma were launched in 2016. In 2017, 2 additional regional stations, Radio Madya and Radio Bartika, were added to the list. In 2018, Radio Aishalton and Radio Oriala were commissioned by the coalition government. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu noted the importance to bridge the gap between the coastland and the hinterland. Our APNU-AFC coalition government wanted our hinterland and interior regions to know what's happening in Georgetown and on the rest of the coast. Our radio stations provide food for the minds, for the intellects of our hinterland residents. They nourish them with information, education, and entertainment, and feed their appetite for relaxation, leisure with diverse cultural programs. The establishment of hinterland radio stations will help to boost culture, sports, and business. To this end, the government is training youths from among the respective communities to serve as broadcasters. For InfoHub, Rebecca Ganesh.
Here is a reminder to check out the Steel Band Panorama at the Theatre Guild and the National Art Exhibition at the National Art Gallery Castellani House on Thursday, February 14. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp, like and subscribe to our Facebook page for notifications. You can also follow us on Instagram for updates and visit our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.